M- ment- mental illness. There, I said it. I know it's taboo, especially in the African American community. Well, my life is full of mental illness. Yet I'm only 45 years young and I've been dealing with mental illness my entire life. But what I want to share with you is my journey to mental health, because that's what I'm trying to achieve. And mental health means to me acknowledging there is a problem, using positive coping strategy, and recognizing my life triggers. Yeah, I've been to counseling and I had a little bit of therapy. But before I got there, I was pounding the pavement growing up in Brooklyn, New York, growing up in the 80s in the thick of the crack epidemic. But they didn't call it an epidemic back then. Dysfunction and trauma was an everyday occurrence. No one associated chaos with mental illness. And at some point, it just became our normal. So when I was 14, my mother just up and moved us to Rayford, North Carolina. You don't know where that's at either. Okay. She was trying to escape the madness. I hated it. Oh my gosh. I was so New York. I was about to start high school and she just up and moved us. Every time I would go back to visit, every summer, every winter break, I would try to make up some lies to my aunt. I'd be like, oh my gosh, school don't start till after Labor Day down there. Knowing damn well in the South, they go back in mid-August. My lies would just catch up with me and they would send me packing right back to North Carolina. I didn't have a choice but to settle into this place. So shit, I did. I started to be popular because one, I was that girl from New York. And two, I was a track star. And then my older brother, he moved in with us. That was pretty cool because when I was younger, he taught me how to stick up for myself. And now he was teaching me how to drive. Because see, in New York, you don't learn how to drive at 12 and 13. So here I was 17, just learning how to drive a car. But let me fast forward. I'm going to take you to my senior year because like in between all of that, it's still confusing to me, right? Because I can't even make sense of it. Like, so my English teacher will pull me out of class. I'm in honors English my senior year. And everybody thought that because I was a popular athlete, I was getting special treatment. I was damn near failing her class. What I didn't realize is what was going on in my house was consuming me and starting to spill over into my classwork. See, I never wrote on topic. I'd write shit like, there's a rapist lurking outside my room. So my teacher was like, I can applaud your fiction and your love of writing, but what, is everything okay? And just like I always did, I assured her everything is fine. Everything is fine. There's nothing wrong. I just love writing. So my senior year went on. I'm ranked #1 in the state now in track. And all I could think about is senior prom, winning the state championship, and getting a Division I scholarship to college. So the track season is winding down. I just finished my last regular meet of the season. Okay, so it's April. Matter of fact, it's a Wednesday night, April 28th, 1993. I came in first place in all 4 races. And now I'm home and my body is aching and I'm sore. And I'm like, yo, I'm about to take a bath and soak this away. My mother had just left for work. Bye, Mom. See you later. So I stripped down to my sports bra and my running shorts and I started running the water. And then the phone rings. So it's my best friend from New York. And we stay on the phone what feels like forever. And then I get a beep and it's my boyfriend. So I'm like, shit, I ain't taking a bath tonight. I'm about to go in my room, get comfortable and talk to him for hours. So I start going in my room and then I'm startled. He's waiting in my room for me. And my boyfriend is like, who is that? Like, who's waiting here? Tell him to get out of your room. So I'm like, get out of my room. And he says, no, make me. And then he punches me in the face and I fall down and I start fighting back and I drop the phone. And next thing you know, he's ripping off my clothes and he's laying on top of me and he's trying to have sex with me. So then I start begging and pleading, stop. Like, please, I won't tell anybody. Just get off of me. I won't tell. Just get off of me. And he's on me and I can feel his breath close to my face. And he's so close. And he's like, you know how to do this. And he punches me one more time to try and get me to open my legs. And at this point, I can feel his penis close to my vagina. And then there's a knock at the door, and there's another knock on the door. They won't go away. So then he jumps up, he pulls up his pants, and I jump up too. I bolt up, and he grabs his fist. He says, pulls back his fist and says, put some clothes on. So I grab the nearest t-shirt, I throw on some pants, and I'll bolt out that damn door. And I go through the kitchen, out the laundry room, run across the fucking backyard, jump the fence, and I start banging on my neighbor's door. And I'm banging on the door. My face is bloody and I'm crying. And she opens and I'm like, call 911. Call 911. My brother tried to rape me. See, what we didn't know is it was the police banging on the door. My boyfriend had been on the phone the entire time. He heard everything. He finally hung up and he called the police. Both of us were taken downtown to the police station, and they called my mother. And I can remember my mother coming, and she's hysterical and she's crying. I'm going to lose everything. How am I going to get him out of jail? And I couldn't believe it. I'm looking at her and I start screaming, well, what about me? Like, your son just tried to rape me. And she said, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Don't tell me anymore. And I'm like, but your son tried to rape me. Like, I can't believe that her first thought is, how am I going to get him out of jail? So I start to realize, and I acknowledge shit that had been building up for years in our house. See, my brother was schizophrenic, and he had a history of saying inappropriate shit to me, right? Looking at me in such a way when I have my prom dress on and asking me to have sex with him. And like, she didn't do anything. Like, this shit was normal, right? So when crazy shit like this happened, and my brother looking at me and saying inappropriate shit to me and making me feel so uncomfortable, I couldn't tell my mother, because all she would do is just shut down, right? She would just shut down. So what would I do? I go run. I'd take off and I fucking run 3 miles. Running was my therapy. Running gave me clarity. Running made all the confusion go away. Running made me see my future. I'm going to get out this fucking house. Everything and everybody thought, oh, Winifred, she just loves to run. Yeah, I love to run. I do. But see, I was a fast girl running from a house full of trauma and dysfunction. We all knew my brother wasn't right. He was schizophrenic, and we just ignored shit and made it our normal, right? It was our new normal, but that shit wasn't normal. Because see, it's not normal to look at your sister and ask her to have sex with you. That's not normal. It's not normal to attempt to grope her, right? Try to feel her private parts and make her some shit about you trying to find the remote. The remote ain't down there. It's not normal to grab your mother by the throat and lift her off the floor because she told you need help. That shit is not normal. But when you grow up in that chaos and shit, you just try to rationalize it and like, this is my house. This is normal, right? Because everybody was physically abusive. Everybody in my house was fighting somebody. Shit, my brother fought the entire family. My sisters would beat up their boyfriends and shit. I would tell teachers, I would get my fucking sisters to beat you up. I mean, my mother's boyfriend hit on her. I mean, that's how my house was in New York. That's what was happening. That was our normal. But see, that Wednesday night, that shit happened. My brother tried to rape me. And that shit wasn't normal. It's like a switch went off in my head that none of this shit is all right. It ain't normal. The fucking gig was up. You know, the secret was out now. My house was a fucking crazy house. My brother never came home. Nope. He served 4 years in jail for what he did to me. I returned to school like nothing happened. Shit, I slept in the same bed, cleaned up my room. I returned to track practice. 2 weeks later, I won the state championship. Shit, I shared Athlete of the Week in the paper with my best friend. We're signing our letter of intent to that Division I scholarship. I got the Division I school, right? And I got that scholarship. Everything was fine. I'm starting to prepare for the fall. Avoidance and denial, it's been working. I'm going to be okay. Everything was fine. until it wasn't. I went off to the University of North Carolina at Wilmington, that predominantly white institution, on that Division I scholarship to run not one, but 2 sports for them. I'm going to run cross country and I'm running track. My best friend Michael's there with me. We live in the same co-ed dorm. I mean, the campus is huge. It's beautiful. It's not far from the beach. I was about to change my life trajectory. Shit, I was headed straight for success. My coach, he coached Michael Johnson. That's a fucking gold Olympic medalist. Shit, the sky was the limit for me. Shit, 1996 Olympics, here I come. Like I said, everything was fine. It was fine until it wasn't. One Thursday night, my roommate comes in and she tells me she found me on the floor in the fetal position, crying in the dark, rocking back and forth. Right? I have no memory of this. I don't believe she was lying. She had no reason to lie. And I believed her because it was a lot of shit I can't remember that first year in college. I would have blackouts in class. Anytime I was given a quiz or a test, I'd have severe anxiety. I'd go someplace in my head and boom, I can't remember shit. I can't answer not one question on the exam. And all I kept thinking was, I'm going to flunk out of school. I can't go home. And then the last straw was, I began to treat my friend Michael bad because he started to look like my brother to me. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I would see him with his sister Whitney, and he would hug her, and Michael, I love you. And I'm like, you better not touch her. Is he trying to move his hand somewhere? And I'm seeing him, and he's looking like my brother to me. The fuck is going on? And this started to affect our friendship because I'm treating him bad, and I know he doesn't deserve it, but I can't stop it because it's happening in my fucking head. So finally, I decided to go get help. I went to the student center and I ran to the first Black administrator I saw. I unloaded on that man. I told him, look, my brother tried to rape me my senior year in high school. I have nightmares. I wet the bed. I'm seeing shit. Like, I need help. And I couldn't flunk out of school because all I could think about is, I flunk out of school and I got to go back home to my mother who's still in denial. And I don't want to go back there. So help me, get help. He sends me to a counselor and I start going. You know, I went to counseling, but I wasn't present, right? So I wasn't engaged, right? I wasn't being honest. I wasn't being vulnerable. I wasn't doing the work. I was just showing up. Yeah, I'm here for counseling. Counseling. Because see, I thought I still had to be strong, right? Because all my life is full of mental illness. So I'm strong. I can get through this. I'm here for counseling. But see, what I didn't realize is that what happened to me, it was affecting me. And I couldn't control it. I didn't know it was a name for it. And then she recommended medicine. The fuck? My brother was supposed to be on medicine. He was supposed to take medicine for schizophrenia. That didn't help him because shit, my brother tried to rape me. So shit, I stopped going altogether. Fuck, now she said medicine, I stopped going. But no matter what I did and how much I tried to run from it, I was not okay. And for the first time, running didn't help. My therapy didn't help. Shit, I ran 6 in the morning. I ran 3 in the afternoon. We had mandatory workout, weightlifting, and nothing worked. Running didn't cure it. Running didn't fix it. I didn't know what the fuck to do. But what I had to do was acknowledge. I had to acknowledge the flashbacks. I had to acknowledge the nightmares, the severe anxiety, the uncontrollable thoughts. Like, I had to acknowledge it and accept that there was a name for it. And I was suffering from fucking PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. I was later then diagnosed with dysthymia, which is a mild long-term depression. I liken that shit to a functioning alcoholic. Like, Monday through Friday, you're fine. And then like on the weekends, you fucking crash and burn. I was able to work through the PTSD. You know, I did various forms of therapy. Okay, I did some counseling. I helped others. And eventually I did take the motherfucking medication. Okay. I'm aware of the flags. I acknowledge what feels abnormal. And I seek help, right? Because this journey, it isn't easy. I'm not going to say, oh, it is easy. It is not easy. But what I know is it doesn't have to be so hard. It doesn't have to be so hard. So like I said in the beginning, I'm striving for mental health. I'm acknowledging there is a problem, okay? I'm using positive coping strategies, and I'm recognizing my life triggers. So I am constantly working on my mental health. And I know if I can do it, so can you.